Hey guys, today in this video we're going to be looking at why this guy has stopped loving multiplayer games. We will find out if we have the same feelings or we have absolutely opposite feelings. Let's see.
I have been playing multiplayer games religiously since I was a shitty little squeaker boy. You see, one day I moved to a country where I could finally have access to a most hallowed and fabled thing, the internet. Suddenly, a whole new world was revealed to my underdeveloped little mind. Counter-Strike,
Ooh, looks dope.
Team Fortress 2, Unreal Tournament, Halo 2. I was instantly hooked. My tiny child brain could not have fathomed the world of possibility that the internet would open up for me when it came to gaming. I'd already fallen in love with single-player titles. Half-Life 1 was the first game I ever played from start to finish, and Combat Evolved was my first ever console game. So you could say I was already in too deep not to be sinking.
The person moved to another country, received internet, and fall in love with a lot of online type shooters. Yeah, that sounds kind of too deep.
Multiplayer, however, it changed everything. See, I was always really antisocial. Not out of some awkwardness in my own nature or an
Aren't we all loners?
inability to make friends or communicate. If anything, I have literally
Yeah.
no shame and am near incapable of feeling social anxiety. It was more a case of I have always been very picky with who my friends are. The internet changed this. Suddenly, I was hopping from lobby to lobby, making friends with everyone. From fellow squeakers like myself, mics peaking every shrill cry and swear, to people 3 times my age, juggling their free time so they could get one more game on Halo before the wife got back home with the kids.
Oh, wow, this video is getting stronger and tighter every moment. Ooh.
This was, quite frankly, a golden age. From full Xbox parties on COD, where everyone was discovering a plethora of new mother-related insults, to entire weekends wasted on Halo custom games with the boys. Infection, Fat Man, Jenga,
I somehow believe that he is referring to the times when there was no way for you to fully understand and fully share your experiences around the world, as there was no such platform as YouTube so fully developed that you could look up the games, the communities, and such term as toxic community didn't really exist back then.
If your brain could think it, the community would have already made it. To this day, there has never been a more welcoming and fun atmosphere in online gaming, at least in my experience. I still cherish many of the memories I made playing in these lobbies, and some of the people I met I am still friends with to this day.
Man, I wish I would have so much footage that I filmed back in the day. So many great moments. I have like clips in my head that there's no way of recovering those or remaking those. And they're just lost, and it just got me thinking.
So when did it all go wrong? When did all of what made multiplayer enticing and joyous to me finally curl up and die? Well, I assume you're at least somewhat literate, since you're operating your device of choice and clicking this video. So you already know that that's what we're going to be talking about, in real explicit detail. The money game. The first point probably isn't news to anyone. In fact, it's an inescapable reality of our current video gaming industry, and unfortunately capitalist society as a whole. Money talks, baby. Oh yeah,
For
we're
sure.
starting with good old-fashioned dirty greed. Have you noticed that as time goes on, you're unlocking less and less and less and less in your online shooty bang-bangs by actually playing the game? Is it
Yeah.
starting to irk you that we once had games with fully realized progression systems where you'd unlock, through actual playtime and enjoyment, a variety of class options, weapon attachments, cosmetics, and
Okay.
other stuff that just made you feel that dopamine hit non-stop straight to the veins. Well, fear no more, little ones. Papa Greedy Publisher is here, and he's going to make sure to protect you from that scary,
Big
scary
Daddy.
dopamine. No, no, no. You shouldn't be allowed to feel the rush of progression and increasing customization without forking out some money. It's for your own safety, after all. I mean, what else can we do to protect you from this horrible and addictive chemical? No, don't look at that. That's not important. That addiction is fine. This one is not. Move.
I remember this article and news and everything about it, where one country after another banned the loot boxes, and in order for Blizzard to continue on, they managed to create something even better than loot boxes. I totally agree with the video so far. It really shows the lack of motivation towards progression system and giving players what they came for, to actually have fun in the games. I somehow believe that we are yet to uncover even deeper meaning in this video, as this is only the beginning, but somehow I really feel like a very strong connection with the person that is telling the story. If you are too, I'm going to be sharing a link of the person right here on the top. And
Move along now.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
If your brain still processes basic information, you're getting the gist of where I'm going. Greed has stripped down multiplayer experiences to the absolute most basic form. Take Overwatch 2 for an example. They've removed the terrible loot box system, at least at the time of recording. You know, the one that encourages gambling in children. And what do they replace it with? Ah, right, just hard cash. You don't earn jack shit anymore in Overwatch 2. No, your rank go up or your rank go down. That is the only real progression you get nowadays. But why would they do this? All these different developers and publishers, why would they take away your ability to organically earn things?
man, I feel so lucky that I played through the original game and collected so many skins. Woo!
In their games and unlock cosmetics and other stuff that is shown to factually increase most people's enjoyment of a game. Yes, you got me. The answer is literally, and will always be, money. They're greedy bastards. They know that if you don't have any other way to unlock something, you'll feel pressured by that little crackhead inside your brain.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you get addicted to crack? Did somebody get addicted to crack?
To toss them $50 here and there for a few meaningless cosmetics. But they're not meaningless, are they? Not to you. Because surprise, surprise, people like to display their individuality and personality through their online personas.
Yeah.
So, easy money, suckers. You want access to the things that will allow you to differentiate your character from everyone else's? Cough up the dough, buddy boy. This isn't progression to me.
That's true. That's absolutely true. I think creating skins like in Counter-Strike, and I'm gonna touch Counter-Strike, they're adding weapon skins, like additional emotes and just color palettes on the weapons. It's just a very creative way of allowing people to express themselves. And yeah, back in the day, such thing was not possible, and it was not fully developed yet to be in such a huge and open market. But nowadays, it's a absolute disaster, as every single multiplayer game is trying to get you to play for some sort of a battle pass and get you to spend as much money as possible, and giving you like invisible progression awards where at the end you just feel nothing. If you're not spending anything, you're not getting anything, and game is just software casino. It's crazy.
Not even close, and it simply doesn't give me the same dopamine hit that the good old days on Halo unlocking recon through VidMaster challenges did. The feeling of hitting max rank in Modern Warfare 2, the old one, and having access to every weapon in every loadout because I had earned it by playing the damned video game. I don't have fun in the long run if there is no tangible progression in a game. I simply get bored and I leave. I can only play the same maps over and over and over again, with nothing changing.
Yeah, somehow, to this comment, I honestly thought that the progression system is really tied with MMO genre that I'm familiar and I've been playing for so many years. I'm not sure about this person's background, but I believe that if he's playing single player games and he's mainly playing multiplayer shooters and he's addicted to a progression system, then I believe I'm no different. Therefore, my opinion in this case should be quite versatile. If I feel that progression system is trash, it should be trash. Okay, so in that case, wow, this video got even more interesting. I like that.
So many times before I just don't care anymore. Before every angle and every tactic is old hat. But progression used to at least provide some incentive to keep playing, to try different crap and experiment. No more. I know what some of you have been shouting at your screen, but oh great and venerable law, what about season passes? Don't those offer you some sort of progression? Well,
Yeah.
wouldn't you know it, little guy? I was about to get onto that right now.
I love how the person is referring to me as a viewer, as a little guy. I really like that. Do you like that too?
Season pass systems and FOMO. I don't think there is a single implementation of a system into video games that I hate more or will ever hate more than the season pass. I know, that was a really hard-hitting statement, wasn't it? But of course, you're wondering why I despise season passes with such a burning passion. You'll argue that at the very least they're better than predatory loot boxes and gambling systems. And yeah, you're not wrong. But that doesn't invalidate the new, and to me, much more infuriating issue that they create. Stick with me here. I know most of you are probably too young or too lazy to have ever worked a real job.
Wait a minute.
Trust me, I feel you here. Work sucks, which is exactly why season passes also suck. Let me try to put this into simple words. I already have to work a job to survive and exist, and trust me, I loathe every fucking minute of it. I don't want a second job, or a third, or a fourth. That's what season passes are. See, publishers started feeling that gambling heat when it came to the loot boxes, so there needed to be a new system.
This is something groundbreaking. I believe that this is a great video and I love the cutscenes, I love the layout, I love how the story is being revealed and is going so far. I'm not sure if you're following. I know that there's a very little following in this channel, but if you can, I would really appreciate if you could like and share this video. If you want me to give less comments, give a comment down below. Let's go.
One that was still just as predatory and unfun, but at the very least didn't encourage an entire new generation to become gambling fiends. Don't worry, we have Twitch streamers to help with that anyway.
Yeah.
Well, here comes Fortnite. Yeah, do the funny dance emotes. Woo!
It is the funny dance emotes.
Fortnite arguably popularized the season pass system, where you'd buy a pass for each season and unlock stuff while playing a game that was, of course, free to play. Look, I'll give Epic and Fortnite shit until the day I die. But at the very least, you actually complete their pass relatively quickly. It's not the worst deal in the world. At the time, it was a big step up from loot boxes, especially if you knew you'd sink that time into the game anyway. The issue arose when more and more other games started adapting the same system. You see, when every fucking multiplayer game in existence implements a season pass, suddenly you're starting to run into an issue. Time is precious. At the very least, mine is. You might not value yours at all, but that's your problem. If you play more than one, or even 2 multiplayer games actively, then you
Hey, that was kind of aggressive, right? The person is just saying that we're not respecting our time. We are respecting our time. Thank you for watching this.
suddenly experience this dreadful thing that is clearly 100% intended by the devs and publishers. Good old fear of missing out. Say you're a completionist and you play, oh, I don't know, Destiny 2, and you like trying to keep up with content, getting everything in terms of items and such, and honestly enjoy hopping on with friends and grinding every so often. Now, imagine a season pass system suddenly shows up, and you now have a limited time every season to either play Destiny 2 enough for it to almost feel like work, or miss out on loads of shit. Worse though, it's shit you've paid for, that if you don't complete in the allotted time, is gone forever. Now I get it, the effect this has on many is the intended one, which is they start grinding like crazy and burning insane amounts of time on these games, because the fear is too strong. They need it. They need the time-limited cosmetics and items.
Yeah, that's true. And even thinking in the perspective, I never placed it that way, as I never really fell in love with multiple shooters at the same time. But saying like, okay, Destiny 2, Overwatch 2, and you have Counter-Strike, you have 3 shooters that you like and you want to purchase a season pass, right? So 3 shooters, I'm not too sure about the pricing to be sure, but let's just say it's like 15 or 25, let's just say $25. So 3 games that you have purchased already, that is paid, and you need to pay like extra $75 so you could have like default stuff in the game. Besides the fact that you already paid for the game, you still need to constantly pay for the game. And I know the thing that even grinds my gears is that despite your purchase of the game, you're not getting any sort of season pass. You're just getting default skins and off you go to grind fest. It's crazy. And I'm playing Final Fantasy, you know that already. And this game has no battle passes, no such thing, as it already has a monthly subscription, and it had monthly subscription since the beginning of time. And I'm very calm and cool with that. But those games, those shooters that should provide you with dopamine kick, throw items at you, at your face, so that you would be compelled playing the game more and more and inviting more of the players to join you playing the game. But this battle pass system is just insane. I hate it.
Items that will disappear into the void forever. They need the crack cocaine.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. I don't need it.
Yeah, and in most cases the skins suck.
I don't need it. I don't need it.
Yeah, but if you see them too often, you kind of have the same thing. You kind of, I don't have it. Should I have it?
I don't need it.
I need it.
I need it!
I don't like feeling pressured to play a game when I don't want to. I don't like that stopping for a few months just to do other shit.
Yeah.
You know, like real life shit. Means you can miss a bunch of crap that will forever remain empty on that in-game tick box of stuff you want to collect.
Sure, up until the game dies and no one cares about that particular item. But up until that happens, you're screwed.
The only effect season passes have ever had for me is that they make me drop a game, almost permanently. I'll come back for large expansions and maybe play it when my friends are on, but I will lose literally all drive to go and run on the hamster wheel for measly rewards because, oh no, time is running out. It is the quickest way to sour me on a game that is otherwise an enjoyable experience, to somehow turn what should be the enjoyment of playing into the same feeling I get when I have deadlines for work. I don't want or need a second job. And
Yeah.
any video game that tries to make itself into more of a job than a game for you this shit isn't worth my time. Look, it would make sense if you only played one game, ever, but I don't. I enjoy variety.
No one plays one single game. No one. Game developers think that the players who play one game for a long time, they imagine that player is playing one game. If you're like low-key, underage person, maybe, but now with free-to-play titles thrown at your face, if you have internet connection, mobile gaming, no way that one person is playing one game. It's not possible.
I
You're
like
just
to hop
stupid.
between different engaging experiences all the time. But when every single multiplayer game starts implementing these trash passes, I would rather just not touch them at all.
Yeah.
Even worse when they do shit like Valorant and Halo Infinite, which by the way I have uninstalled, so I won't even show footage of, where you have to do
Okay, I'm not sure about both of Halo or Valorant battle passes, but I'm very curious.
specific challenges to even level the pass. Challenges that force you into game modes you don't like, or to play with weapons you aren't good with, or even classes or heroes you dislike just to progress. That is atrocious. Not only is the game trying to stress you out with a time limit for unlocking crap you have paid for already,
Yeah, that
it is
sucks.
also making you play the game in ways that you might not enjoy at all. This mountain of shit is why I hate season passes. I rarely, if ever, spend money on them anymore, because I would rather dedicate my time to things and experiences that value that time. You want to
1000% I agree with this statement. The moment I feel pressured into forcing myself to playing the game, well, I'm over 30 years old now, so I understand the concept of time pretty okay now. So the moment I feel forced, it's the moment I stop playing or stop pursuing that action that pushes me or pulls me towards the result. And it happened with a lot of games. And it's not happening with Final Fantasy, simply because the game is not forcing me to do anything. And if I log on to shooters or any sort of single player game that was released like in past 5 to 6 years, you have incentive to grind instead of doing something and getting a glorious, nice reward. And with money involved and online gaming, it's a horrible shit show.
see a few good examples of how this system can be implemented well? Look no further than the Master Chief Collection and Deep Rock Galactic. In the MCC, your season passes are all free and they never expire, so you can play the game whenever the fancy strikes you, and you'll just unlock stuff as you play. Lovely, simple, no FOMO, no stress, making me feel like my time would be better spent doing literally anything else. Deep Rock Galactic, again because you bought the game full price, offers every season's reward tree for free. But even better, if you miss any one season and don't get all the items, they then move from the season pass into the game's loot pool, so you can still unlock them with RNG.
This
and
looks
game
like a cool game. Sorry. Yeah. But and as well, this is a very fair point, and I think this is thing that builds a strong and respectful community for the game and for the game developers and publishers. Of
currency
course.
over time. Would you look at that? Non-predatory seasonal content systems? Color me impressed. Remember how a long time ago, around the start of this video, I was talking about all of these positive social experiences I had on multiplayer games?
Yeah.
Even when I was a child, interacting with people who had no reason to be cool, welcoming and embracing of me into their little friendship groups, yet still were. I have not had an experience similar to that in any multiplayer video game for what feels like a decade since. except for co-op games, which I'm going to make a separate video on. Have you? I don't know what the fuck happened to gaming communities.
I think FOMO did a big role in this, and if you're giving big rewards or very minor rewards, and it's just tree of rewards hanging, and you need to climb certain ladder or level up as quick as possible, you miss one thing that is the most important thing for you, is to make friends and have fun in the game. If game is pushing you towards skipping as much things as possible so you could get the reward, you're done. You're in the web. And I don't know. There's old school games that don't have that, and old school MMOs that don't really have that. I know that if you don't look up the game trailers, if you don't look up game reviews regards to the newer titles, you're gonna have so much fun, and you're gonna meet so much new people if you're gonna ask things. But it really depends on the game, how the game is built. If the game is built towards you getting best every single moment, you're gonna be done fairly quickly, as the community will be looking at the best setup, best gear builds, best, so on and so forth. So you as a gamer who wants to go there, have fun, you're lost, you're done. So the only way to have fun, truly, is to look for titles that respect players' time, give the fun when it's needed, and avoid such controversy as the big companies is aiming for.
But these days, all you run into is toxic sweatlords on literally every damned video game. All that you ever see in text or voice chat is people screaming slurs at each other, raging at their own team, or just being massive toxic balls of feces all day, every day, in all their matches.
Yeah.
What happened? I'm asking genuinely on this one. I don't know. I can't begin to guess. Is it just the increased access of people to these games has allowed the dregs of humanity to wash in? Maybe. I've even had theories that maybe the creation of communities on stuff like Discord results in everyone who isn't a horrid little gremlin just
By the way, skins look awful. Like, these are the collectible skins. They all look terrible.
finding personal communities dedicated around the games they play, where everyone is just overall nicer to each other. So all you're left with in public matchmaking, in terms of people who actually use the in-game comms, is honest.
Okay. I think it's the person is digging deeper, and I focused at skins at one point, but yeah, there is a fair point. So basically, the only way the gaming community is going to change is if gaming people who are playing games will say, stop it, it's enough, this is not fun for us. But as long as there are people who are purchasing battle passes, who are saying it's okay, it's fine, I don't care, all I want to do is chill, sit back and play the game, if it forces me to paying some amount of cash, it's fine. But the thing is, it's like you're feeding the big dragon, because now we have battle passes. Later on we will have even slower progression or even no progression. If you want to level, just imagine, like, if you want to level up, you need to pay like $1. But in order for you to have like stats in game higher, or a little bit better skin or different color, you have to have like already spent $5. And what if, hey, let's just go into deeper minds. What if you spend like $5, and unless you spend $5, you don't even see what kind of results you can get if you spend 10 more. So it's gamble even more. It's not like loot boxes as you unlock something throughout the way, but there's going to be a surprise at the end. And just imagine like thousands of layers of surprises that you can get, or thousands of dollars that you can spend to get your character stronger. And this is just the very beginning. Loot boxes was the very ground layer for it to test the grounds on Blizzard, on the big companies that implemented this. Battle Pass is just a second step monetizing your every move. It's just gaming is becoming like I don't know, software of a casino.
Just
Crazy.
the worst people you could ever imagine. I do a little trolling myself, and I'll be equally toxic at someone if they spend an entire round flaming me, but I don't go around flaming my team in ranked all day, or constantly seem to just be trying to start toxic arguments in every single match I'm in. It's just depressing. I lived during a time where even with the infamous pre-game lobbies of people telling you they're going to fuck your mom, a majority of the people I'd meet would be quite alright. They'd be capable of having conversations. They wouldn't take the damn game so seriously. It's like people's ability to have fun has just fucking evaporated. They all want to be esports players, and they think they're hot shit, so they'll act that way in all the games they play. It just isn't fun anymore.
It's not
Multiplayer
fun.
game lobbies are in general so miserable.
Yeah, and even the thing like, it's so right. Every sort of person that plays shooters is acting like a big shot esports player, cursing, yelling. I even saw the tip online like a couple of years back. In order for you to rank up in competitive in Overwatch, all you need to do is just turn off the voice communication and chat communication. I even have it key binded, and it helps. I can play with the calm mindset and win games. And if I log on to the team chat, it changes. It changes your mindset. You start being stressed. You start being involved. And if you mess something up, well, you're gonna be blamed for that. It's not the way that the game should be played. You should be rewarded for communicating with the team, not being blamed by the same people that are in your team. This is wrong.
That you have to wonder why any of these people in these matches are even bothering to play the games at all anymore. Like,
oh yeah, and esports players, everyone, like you meet every, like in Overwatch, in the bronze and silver and in all of the rankings, you meet people that really acts like big shots and under impression that if they wanted to, they could be like pro players. And I remember previously I liked playing League of Legends before. I was a League of Legends player for, I don't know, for one summer. I really played it more or less a couple hours a day. And I looked up, okay, what would it be for me? So what would be needed from my side in order for me to be a pro player in the game? And as it appears, pro players, despite being a League of Legends university, besides the fact that there's multiple of skills how you should do things in the best way, pro players, what they do, they play the game constantly for like 10, 12 or even more hours every single day. And those people who do this thing for months, after that, they have a chance of competing in the pro league. And I'm not even saying about how expensive your setup should be, how good and low latency your mouse should be, how perfect your keyboard, your posture, your I don't know, G fuel and liquids that you consume, food that you eat, everything should be so calculated and aimed towards precision that if you're a person that's trying to rank up, you need to chill out and like look back at yourself. Will you be going to the esports? Most likely not. So you can cut some slack for your teammates, relax a bit, and other people in your team is doing the very same thing. They're aiming to have fun. I believe this is something that, yeah, again, gaming community needs to learn and needs to respect things about each other. As we're not moving away from it. This thing already begun, so we need to like have community 2.0 or community remastered, revamped, or something like that, in order for us to strike back and revolve and do some things. I don't know. Let's go.
Unironically go the fuck outside and touch some grass. The dream of the esports wannabe.
Oh.
One trend I noticed as esports was becoming more and more of a big deal was that players lost their minds trying to emulate these people in professional teams. And the more they tried, the more they turned into the stinky sweatlords that infest online games nowadays. People who think they're gonna be the next Shroud. So they're on there clenching their cheeks as hard as possible, literally shitting and shaking the entire match, because if they didn't win, then how could they possibly be having any fun? These are the people that will shout at you in unranked matches for picking non-meta characters, weapons, classes, etc. People who have warped their idea of fun to such a pathetic degree that even when they're like not platinum rank in whatever they're playing, they'll still act like they're in Grandmasters. I've always despised playing the meta. It's boring. You want to see how boring? Take a look at Overwatch.
Before going into Overwatch, I see the same thing. Meta sucks. It always sucked. Meta is just the thing that, not the Facebook meta. I'm okay with Facebook, but like specific set of characters that you need to play to please the developers. It's nonsense. You should play the characters that you feel are fun, and it should be like that. I remember even playing Lineage. The top classes is always like a gladiator, like mages, and like I remember half of my playtime I played all of the characters that was not on the highest tier, and I played only because of the motivation that everyone is saying that those characters suck. Well, I'm gonna make them no longer suck. I'm gonna make them awesome and brag to other people how cool my character is, and as they never played it, never tried it, it's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna easily stand out without purchasing any extra stuff. I'm just taking a different route. Of course, it's gonna be more challenges. It's gonna be tricky at times, but hey, I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing it as an act of fun towards the progression of myself and development for myself and my brain cells. And meta sucks. The moment, I'm not sure when this term was created, but it sucked ever since.
And how a stale and incredibly boring meta to watch and play pretty much kneecapped the competitive esports scene. Well, now you have millions of little troglodytes trying to mimic their favorite nerd from esports and constantly playing only the meta shit and raging any time they lose while playing that meta. Or the even more terrible crime is committed of someone not caring about the meta at all. Blasphemy! How could you possibly be playing this game just to kick back and relax? What do you mean you're gonna play an off-meta character? What do you mean you're using that terrible gun for the fun of it? What is wrong with you? Unbearable. Of course, esports gave rise to another terrible thing for multiplayer gaming. And that is developers and publishers who see the money in that industry and suddenly want every goddamn game they ever make to be an esports. What does this mean? Well, suddenly everything needs to be balanced. And the way terrible developers do this balancing, of course, is nerfing crap.
I don't agree. It's not, it's like so radically black and white. It's not something I can live with. You can't really say you're buffing and you're nerfing. It's It's literally something gets additional stuff and something gets a little bit weaker. Just like making character of 1%, making that it would make 1% more damage, saying that it's a buff, it's over buffed, it's overpowered. It's such a crazy clickbaity word that automatically triggers the brain cells that it's so important not to consume information about that. But it's in reality it's wrong. It's really just a simple balance. Simple balance. And nerfing, it's like nerf would be if you would, like in comparison Overwatch, if you take away all of the abilities. But it's not like you lowering the damage. You can still kill the players. It's team co-op game. It's I don't know. I sometimes communities just make up words that, again, clickbait to the grave, and I'm gonna die next to those words and saying that those words are insane.
Constantly nerfing anything that might be fun or interesting into the ground. Because if the game isn't balanced, then it can't have a competitive scene.
Nerfed and broken. Two words that go like sister and brother.
Right? You see this with pretty much every single modern shooter. You have dev teams constantly badly balancing and then rebalancing the game to a degree where it's almost comedic. One week, your main character might be S tier, and the literal next week he's Z tier because some professional nerds complain that they're broken. This also leads to balancing based on data, but that needs to be an entire video all on its own. Look at the blog post the Overwatch devs released recently to the balance off data, such as hero pick and win rates. You want a quick and dirty example of why balancing off win rates is a terrible fucking idea? Because there can be a lot of bias in how someone reads data. For example, they could see a hero who has an incredibly high win rate. That means they have to be busted, right? So let's nerf the shit out of them. When in reality, they're a niche character who sucks. So nobody but the people who have mastered this character will ever pick them. Thereby, high win rate, yes, because the only people who can even play the crappy character are the ones who have learned them inside and out.
Yeah.
The balancing rabbit hole is infinite, and it only gets worse all the time. So we're not going deeper into it without a tab of acid on hand. Instead, let's shift our focus to the problem with team games. Now, I'm no top player in the world at pretty much anything, but I'm also not total crap. This creates a massive problem for me. You see, skill-based matchmaking systems do in fact punish good performance, and I experience this in about every single multiplayer game I ever dedicate time to.
Yeah.
I'll do good for a few matches, and suddenly I'm facing a team of absolute gods, while my teammates are doing their best to keep oxygen cycling in and out of their lungs.
I remember Overwatch back in the day did thing like the more victories you have, furthermore you're gonna climb and stronger enemies you're gonna get. It's similar to like doubling your kill rates or doubling the ranks of some people. So at the end, I think if you win like five matches, you're fighting the team that you're gonna most definitely struggle to hold against. But if you win, you're gonna get so much ranks that it's gonna feel rewarding. But nowadays, no way. In Overwatch, nope, you're playing in the kindergarten with kids that are yelling, that are losing their hair. Hello. Yeah, and it's crazy. Crazy damage.
This incredibly aggressive type of matchmaking has only become more and more prevalent of late, with more people pointing it out and noticing it. In the past, I didn't mind it or even notice it as much because games used to actually reward skilled play. I know, what an idea! Whether mechanical skill, map knowledge, if you were good at, say, Halo or COD, or any game really, you could feasibly carry your team on your back and still eke out a win. And it felt good. You felt like a Chad. The issue nowadays is that so many games are designed around forced teamwork to such an extent that if you have a single person not playing their role properly, you are doomed to failure. You're a good tank, but your healers are bad? Welp, GG. You're a great healer, but your DPS is incapable of killing any of the 4 different people using you as a makeshift pinata? Welp, GG. Compare this with any single match of Halo, where you can honestly be getting more than half the kills in a match by yourself, and still managing to at least stand a chance as a result of your own effort being rewarded. You can't do that anymore in most games, because design has shifted into these hero and role-based games that encourage esports-style team makeups.
Yeah.
Even if you're good, most of the time you'll feel like the game is actively punishing you for having the goal to have above a 50% hit accuracy. How dare you? Multiplayer games, you're dead to me. There you have it, a jumble of thoughts and words made manifest. This is how I fell completely out of love with a genre that I was once honestly obsessed with. I don't know if I'll ever feel the same drive I once did to play these kinds of games again. Maybe I've just outgrown them, or maybe the plethora of issues I've spent this whole video outlining have so completely tainted the idea of multiplayer in my mind that there's nothing left for me to go back to. Whatever the case, I'll always cherish the thousands of combined hours I've spent finishing the fight in Halo, hitting sick op shots in Counter-Strike, pulling off insane feats of mobility in Titanfall 2, and the many friends and communities I became a part of along the way. The good games will always remain good, even if nothing worthy comes along to replace them. In the meanwhile, I'll be spending my time having fun in the oh so many co-op alternatives.
What is this game? Could you please share the name of this game? Please?
Offer far more enjoyment, far less toxicity, and way more bang for your buck. Oh yeah.
Graphics, Christmas looks amazing.
You know what that means. Rock and stone.
This was a very strong video. Yeah.